But one thing that I implore every candidate that I talk to, people get very worked up and concerned about this idea of not having experience. How do you get experience without having experience? How do you get that job? Well, I'm a huge believer in the idea that everything that you have done up until this point of your life is a part of who you are. Um, it does not mean that you need to be that person. Um, but whether something has been good, bad, uh, nondescript, if you don't think that it even impacted who you were, I truly believe that everything that you have been through is can be a part of who you are. So whether if you think about it from a retail standpoint, if you go to the mall, there are hundreds or 1,000 employees in one good sized mall that are talking to customers, checking their vibe. If you're working in a clothing store, you're checking someone's fit out, right? You're assessing who they are on very limited things. Working customer service, working cashiers. If you're in the back room, you're working inventory, right? And there are these systems, there are tools that matter, right? So if you go into if you're in one place of business and they have a type of register, and you go into a different type of business and they have a different register, they might be built by two different companies and using two different pieces of software, but you understand the concept, and the tools in their very bottom line are the same. So there's no saying that you can't transfer those skills. So those things that are happening in the mall, in any retail store, that's what's happening in retail dispensaries. That's what's happening in a dispensary, right? You have people in the back room who are managing product inventory. So you have inventory specialists. So there are tools and measures and things that need to be accounted for. And whether it's a bunch of shoes at the Nike store, or a bunch of product or vapes, or different sizes and quantities and brands and products in cannabis, that back room is, and again, it might look different, but that concept of inventory is very key, and it's necessary, and it's important, and it does translate. So front of the house type things, if you're working in restaurants, you're bartender, hostess, waiter, waitress, you're talking to customers, you're checking their vibe out, you probably have a very quick understanding of who somebody is by just a quick interaction, right? And same thing in a dispensary, that's going to be super helpful. So if you're moving outside of the idea of the retail dispensary, if you're thinking something more from a marketing standpoint, all that really matters, right? So if you're in marketing, the idea is the same, right? You want to not necessarily just grow an audience, but you want to engage with an audience. You want to learn more about them. You want to you want to maybe test out some new tools or new channels, and ways to help those people, introduce them to what you have, learn what they want. Maybe you can deliver that in a different way.